In Iron Man 3, Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark. And what's going on in this movie is Iron Man, which is Tony Stark, is fighting a evil scientist who is trying to make nuclear-powered humans, metahumans basically. And in doing so, as he's fighting crime, he, in a few parts of this movie, break down and he has this sort of panic attack, and he's not sure what's going on. He's asking Jarvis, what's wrong, what's my blood pressure and everything, and he says, well, sir, you're having an anxiety attack. Well, he flashes back a couple times to when he was in New York with the Avengers, and they were fighting an alien race, and the U.S. government had decided, look, we're about to lose New York, so we need to either eliminate everybody or maybe become taken over by a hostile force. So they send a nuke, and the Iron Man picks up this nuke and he diverts it into this portal in between dimensions. So as he goes through, he releases it, and it goes towards the mothership of this alien race. Well, it explodes and he falls back, and he passes out. And as he's falling, he barely makes it through the portal, and he's falling to his death. He's unconscious, and he's just free falling. Well, as he's about to hit the ground, the Hulk jumps off a couple buildings and saves him. Well, the point of it is Iron Man was having an anxiety attack. Now, I'll be telling you about anxiety and how it affects people and their lives. Anxiety is real. According to medicalnewstoday.com, anxiety is that nervousness, that fear, the unease, or it could be eagerness or desire to do something or about something that you're around. Also, according to medicalnewstoday.com, some of the symptoms of anxiety are nausea, or you could have headaches or sweating really bad profusely, restlessness, you can't sit still, you can't just stay in one place, or you could have trouble sleeping. I know a lot of people have that restless foot syndrome. Can be caused by it, or you're easily startled where you hear sounds or you see flickers of stuff, and all of a sudden you're spooked and your heart races and you don't know exactly what's going on. Well, how common is anxiety? An estimated 40 million American adults suffer from anxiety disorders. That's according to ADAA.org. That's understand the facts. And yes, anxiety can be passed down from a parent to a child. It's just like a parent passes down the gene for eye color, or the gene for how tall you're going to be, or what color your hair is. Now, it's not, unheard of, but it's also not every single case. Not all the time do the parents actually pass that down, but sometimes the kids can be more acceptable to that gene and pick it up. It could be a dominant gene in them. Now, I just want to tell you about a personal experience with anxiety that I deal with every day. In 2013, I had a work accident where I had a concrete saw kick back and hit me in the face. And it broke my nose, broke my eye socket, my cheekbone, crushed in my nasal cavities. And I can remember the saw running, and I can remember the sound of it tearing through the bone and the flesh in my face, and I can remember every detail except for the pain. I can't remember exactly what it felt like, but I can remember the sounds. I can remember seeing the blood and the tissue being ripped away, and the sound of the blade catching in the bones and it just stopping, and it just comes to a screech, just a halt. And for a few years I went to therapy to help deal with this anxiety. So I went and did a bunch of exercises, breathing exercises and this and that, to kind of counteract the effects of it from the PTSD that I had sustained from this. Now, small sounds like hearing a leaf blower top on the roof blowing off the leaves, it sounded like a motor running, and there for the longest time, those little triggers set it off where I would be panicking, I'd be sweating, I would be nervous, have a lot of fear built up, and I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. I had those anxiety attacks. But another way that you can take care of those is from medication. People do use medication to deal with anxiety. Like for me, example, I used Lexapro. Eventually I got to wean myself off of it, because when you take something like that, even though it calms you down, you're calm, you can have spurts of I feel high, yet you don't do anything. You just take that pill to help you with your anxiety, and all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're spacing out. And it, for some people it's dangerous. Like me, I didn't like it, so I dealt with it mentally, and I overcame it with therapy instead of medication. But I dealt with anxiety for a long time, and I deal with it every day, having to work in the construction field. I own my own contracting company, so I do come in contact with concrete saws, and I was able to overcome that fear. But everybody's different. Everybody takes longer or different amounts of time to overcome those fears, to overcome the public speaking. Like me, I never in a million years would think that I would be talking in front of anybody to do speeches or anything like that. That personal experience for me and it happening to my face really affected my life. But I'm glad that I overcame that. Now, a lot of that you can find in the generalized anxiety disorder at the mentalhealthamerica.net. Now, anxiety, it's real. It is a struggle that a lot of people deal with every day. It's not something that's just going to go away. It's not something you can just say, oh, well, I don't feel like dealing with this today. It's there. It's like addiction or like a disease. No matter how bad you want it to go away, it's not just going to go away. It takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes a lot of mental control. Now, I've discussed with you my own experiences with anxiety, some of the symptoms of me being, feeling like I was high, like the nausea, the dizziness, the headaches, which I have migraines every single day. But what can you do to help with that anxiety? Like I said, it's a mental game to deal with that, to overcome that, to prosper, to be better, to really take your life back. Now, anxiety it's common, and like I said, according to the stats on anxiety, over 40 million American adults have anxiety. And it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're big or you're small, you're tall or you're short. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter. Those events in your life can change you, can alter you, and you don't even know it. It's a blink of an eye, and everything can change. Anxiety is real, and it's something that needs to be dealt with. Just like Robert Downey Jr. as he plays Tony Stark in the Iron Man. Even superheroes get anxiety. Thanks.